Beppu drags me to shelter. Blood soaks through my hakama. He presses cloth against the wounds, but we both know it's useless. Saigō-sama, we need to get you out. There is no out, my friend. I watch them die. Men I trained, men I loved. Each death a knife in my chest. I am Saigō Takamori. I taught Japan how to build an empire. I taught them how to use modern rifles, how to build a modern army. And then they pointed those guns at me, the last true samurai. I didn't fight to destroy Japan. I fought because Japan was destroying itself. This is the story of the man they sacrificed for progress. They called me a hero once. The year is 1868. The Tokugawa Shogunate has fallen. The emperor sits on his throne again. And I, Saigō Takamori, stand at his side. A warrior who helped tear down 3 centuries of tyranny. I can still smell the gunpowder. Still hear the cries of men who died believing in something greater than themselves. We bled for this. We sacrificed everything to restore honor to Japan. And for a moment, one beautiful, fleeting moment, I believed we had won. The streets of Edo are alive with celebration. Banners flutter in the wind. The people chant the emperor's name. They chant mine too. Saigō, Saigō. A general without ambition. A warrior without greed. That's what they call me. I walk through the imperial palace and ministers bow. My sword, the one I've carried since I was a boy, rests at my side. A relic of honor in a world about to forget what honor means. I dream of a Japan that stands tall, independent, virtuous, strong enough to face the West without bending, wise enough to modernize without losing its soul. But dreams crack easily when reality strikes. The whispers start in the corners of the palace. Western advisors in tailored suits, ministers who've never held a sword, never bled for anything, deciding the fate of warriors. They speak of efficiency, of progress, of erasing the old to make room for the new. I watch them laugh at us, the samurai who built this nation. They call us relics, dinosaurs, obstacles to their shining future. One night, I overhear a minister, a man I once trusted, mocking the Bushido code. Honor, loyalty, these are luxuries we can no longer afford. Japan must be practical now. Practical. The word tastes like ash. I see it happening, slowly, like watching a temple burn from the inside. The Japan I fought for, the Japan my brothers died for, is being dismantled brick by brick. Foreign ideals flood in like a tsunami. Western fashion, Western weapons, Western minds. The emperor's court begins to look like a European salon. And the samurai were being forgotten, erased, pushed aside for men with ink-stained fingers and empty hearts. I try to speak. I stand before the council and plead, we can grow stronger without cutting out our soul. They nod, they smile, they ignore me. I begin to realize the horrible truth. To build the Japan they want, they must destroy everything I am. And I helped them do it. I gave them the keys to the kingdom. I trained their army. I showed them how to wield power. Now that power turns its gaze toward me. The seed is planted. Deep in my chest, where honor and duty war against each other. I stand at the edge of a cliff, watching the sunrise over a nation I no longer recognize. And I wonder, when the time comes, will I have the courage to fall? The fall begins with paper, not with swords, not with blood, with bureaucratic decrees signed by men who've never faced death. 1876, the Hai-Torei Edict. 4 words that shatter 300 years of tradition. The wearing of swords is prohibited. I read it again and again. My hands shake, not from fear, from disbelief. They're outlawing the soul of the samurai. I walk through the streets of Tokyo, and I see it everywhere. Warriors, men who fought beside me, who bled for the restoration, removing their swords, their faces hollow, their eyes dead. Some weep openly. Others stare at the ground, silent, as if ashamed to exist. The government doesn't stop there. They abolish our stipends. The salary that sustained samurai families for generations, gone. Replaced with bonds that lose value by the month. Paper promises from a government that no longer needs us. Thousands of warriors are suddenly beggars in the nation they built. I watch a former general, a man who commanded armies, selling vegetables in the market. His hands, once steady on a katana, now tremble as he counts coins. This is what progress looks like. I try to speak out. I stand before the council again. You're destroying the men who gave you this empire. Show them dignity. Show them gratitude. A minister, young, Western-educated, arrogant, cuts me off. Saigō-san, your services are appreciated, but Japan has evolved beyond the need for your kind. Your kind, as if we're animals, relics, trash to be discarded. The room goes silent. Every eye on me, waiting to see if the great Saigō Takamori will break. I don't. Not there, not in front of them, but inside, something snaps. Friends stop visiting. Allies distance themselves. I become dangerous to know, a symbol of resistance in a government that demands obedience. Whispers follow me through the halls. Saigō is planning something. He's gathering followers. He's a threat. I'm not. Not yet. But they're making me one. Haunted, I return to Satsuma, my homeland. The mountains welcome me like an old friend. Here at least, the old ways still breathe. I open a school. Not for war, for remembrance. Young men come to learn, not how to fight, but how to live with honor. I teach them swordsmanship, yes, but also philosophy, ethics, the Bushido code that's being erased from history. We train at dawn, meditate at dusk. We speak of loyalty, duty, sacrifice, words the government has forgotten. For a brief moment, I find peace, but peace is fragile when empires are watching. Imperial spies infiltrate my school. They twist everything. Every lesson becomes sedition. Every training session becomes preparation for rebellion. Reports flood back to Tokyo. Saigō is building an army. He's radicalizing the samurai. He must be stopped. I'm not building an army. I'm preserving a memory. But they don't care about truth. They care about control. The man who helped create the Meiji government is now its greatest enemy. And I haven't even raised my sword yet. I stand alone on the hillside, watching the sun set over Satsuma. The empire I built now sees me as a disease to be cured. And I realize, with cold, brutal clarity, that they will force my hand. They will make me the villain they already believe I am. Because a nation obsessed with progress cannot tolerate the ghosts of its past. They don't give me a choice. January 1877. Imperial police raid my school. They arrest my students, beat them, drag them through the streets like criminals for teaching honor. Word spreads like wildfire through Satsuma. Samurai gather at my door, hundreds of them, eyes burning with rage, hands gripping swords they're no longer allowed to carry. Saigō-sama, we cannot let this stand. They've declared war on everything we are. I look at their faces, young, old, desperate, men with nothing left to lose. I didn't want this. I never wanted this. But the government has made its choice, and now I must make mine. February. We march, not as rebels, as samurai, as men reclaiming the dignity that was stolen from us. 30,000 strong, swords gleaming against the rising sun. A procession of ghosts demanding to be seen one last time. I ride at the front, and I feel the weight of history on my shoulders. Every step forward is a step toward death. I know this. They know this, but we march anyway, because some things are worth dying for. The first battle is at Kumamoto Castle. We strike fast, fierce, unstoppable. The imperial garrison crumbles before us. For a moment, the old ways triumph. I watch my men fight, not with rifles, but with katanas, steel singing through the air, blood on snow. It's brutal. It's beautiful. It's everything the modern world wants to forget. We win, but victory tastes like poison, because I see the cost. I see the bodies, the imperial soldiers, boys really, lying dead in the mud. Boys trained by my reforms, armed with my strategies. I'm fighting the army I created. The battles continue. We push forward. Tabaruzaka, bloody, desperate. My samurai charge up the hill again and again, swords against Gatling guns. They fall like cherry blossoms in a storm. Each victory bleeds us dry. Ammunition runs low, supplies vanish. The modern army, vast, mechanized, endless, closes in from every direction. My men still fight, not because they believe we'll win, because they believe in something worth more than winning. But belief doesn't stop bullets. I stand on a ridge, watching the imperial forces gather on the horizon. Tens of thousands, fresh troops, modern artillery, the full weight of the empire I helped build. Beppu finds me there, my oldest student, my most loyal friend. Saigō-sama, he says quietly, we can't win this. I know. Then why do we continue? I turn to him, look into eyes that mirror my own pain. Because if we don't, Japan will forget. They'll erase us from history, pretend we never existed, pretend honor never mattered. And if we die? Then we die as samurai, not as relics, not as footnotes, as men who refuse to bend. He nods, no more words needed. We retreat to Shiroyama, a hill, nothing more. Our final sanctuary. 40,000 imperial troops surround us. We are 400. The math is clear. I gather my men one last time. They stand before me, exhausted, wounded, unbroken. Tomorrow, they will come for us, I say. Tomorrow, the Empire will demand our surrender. Silence. We will not give it. A cheer rises. Weak, defiant, beautiful. If we must die, let it be beneath the rising sun, not the shadow of shame. They draw their swords. The steel catches the light. And I realize, this is not a rebellion. This is a funeral for an entire way of life. The last act of men the world no longer wants. September 24th, 1877. Dawn breaks over Shiroyama, and with it comes thunder. Not from the sky, from the earth itself. Artillery, hundreds of guns. The Imperial Army has surrounded us completely. 60,000 soldiers against our final 400. The bombardment begins. Shells scream through the air. Trees explode. The ground erupts in geysers of dirt and fire. The hillside becomes hell. My men take cover where they can. Behind rocks. In trenches. Some don't make it. Bodies torn apart by modern weaponry. The kind I taught them to use. The irony isn't lost on me. I'm hit. A bullet tears through my thigh, then another through my side. The pain is distant, numb, as if my body already knows what my mind refuses to accept. This is the end. Beppu drags me to shelter. Blood soaks through my hakama. He presses cloth against the wounds, but we both know it's useless. Saigō-sama, we need to get you out. There is no out, my friend. Around us, my samurai make their final stand. They charge down the hill, swords raised, voices screaming defiance. Running into machine gun fire. It's suicide. It's glorious. They fall one by one, cut down mid-stride. The modern world erasing the old with mechanical efficiency. I watch them die. Men I trained, men I loved. Each death a knife in my chest. A young samurai, barely 20, falls 3 feet from me. His eyes find mine. He smiles. Actually smiles. It was an honor, Saigō-sama. Then he's gone. The guns never stop. The Empire is thorough, methodical. They're not just killing us, they're making a statement. This is what happens to those who resist progress. By midday, we're down to 50 men, then 30, then 20. The sun climbs higher, indifferent to our suffering. I try to stand. My legs buckle. Blood pools beneath me. I've lost too much. Beppu kneels beside me, tears streaming down his face. Around us, the last of my samurai form a circle, protecting me, even now. Sensei, Beppu whispers, what do we do? I look at him, at them, these beautiful, doomed souls who followed me into oblivion. And I realize, Japan no longer belongs to men like us. The world has already moved on. We're fighting a ghost war for a ghost nation, but at least we're fighting as ourselves. Beppu, I say softly, you know what must be done. His face crumbles. No, Saigō-sama, please. I will not let them take me alive. I will not parade my disgrace through Tokyo for their amusement. The guns roar closer. Imperial soldiers advance up the hill. Let me die a samurai. Beppu's hands shake as he draws his sword. The blade catches the morning light, still beautiful, still pure. Around us, the remaining warriors bow. Not to me, to what I represent. The last breath of an era they'll never see again. I close my eyes. I think of the Emperor, of the Japan I dreamed of the brothers I lost, of the path that led me here, from hero to outcast to martyr. I don't regret it. Better to die with honor than live in shame. Beppu, I whisper, do not hesitate. The sword rises. For a moment, time stops. The gunfire fades. The world holds its breath. Then the blade falls. And with it, the age of the samurai ends. The imperial soldiers find my body moments later. 47 wounds. Still kneeling, still facing toward the emperor's palace. Loyal to the end. Even in death, I could not turn away. The guns fall silent. Shiroyama is a graveyard. 400 samurai dead. The last warriors of old Japan, scattered across the hillside like fallen leaves. The imperial soldiers stand among the bodies, uncertain. Some weep. Others stare in hollow silence. They've won. But victory feels like murder. News reaches Tokyo within hours. Saigō Takamori is dead. The Meiji Emperor receives the report in his private chambers. He reads it once, twice. Then the paper slips from his fingers. They say he wept. Not tears of relief, tears of grief, of guilt. He pardons me posthumously, restores my honor, as if ink on paper can undo what bullets did to flesh. The empire celebrates its victory. Parades, medals, promotions for the generals who crushed the rebellion. But the people, the common people, they don't celebrate. They mourn. Within weeks, my legend grows. Not as a traitor, as a martyr. The man too loyal for his own time. The warrior who died defending what the empire had forgotten. Shrines appear. Prayers are whispered. My name becomes sacred. The government tries to control the narrative. Saigō was misguided. Saigō was a rebel. But the people don't listen. They know the truth. I wasn't fighting against Japan. I was fighting for its soul. And in killing me, the empire proved my point. Years pass. Japan modernizes faster. Railways, factories, a military that rivals the West. The nation I dreamed of, strong, independent, powerful, comes to life. But it's hollow, efficient, cold. The Bushido Code becomes a museum piece. Honor becomes a word politicians use in speeches but never practice. The samurai are erased from history, remembered only in stories told to children. Progress marches on, relentless, unstoppable. But something is missing. The old ministers, the ones who mocked me, who called me a relic, they grow old themselves. And in their final years, some admit the truth. Perhaps we were too hasty. Perhaps we threw away something precious in our rush toward the future. Too late. Always too late. I think about this often, from wherever the dead watch the living. Did I fail? Yes. The rebellion was crushed. The samurai are gone. The Japan I fought for vanished like morning mist. But maybe failure was the point. Maybe my death was never meant to stop progress. Maybe it was meant to remind Japan of the cost. Every revolution devours its heroes. Every empire is built on the bones of those who loved it most. I was the sacrifice required for Japan to move forward, the blood price of modernization. They needed me to fall so they could rise. And perhaps, just perhaps, my death planted a seed, a memory, a whisper that echoes through generations. Strength without honor is tyranny. Progress without soul is destruction. Japan became a great power. It conquered. It expanded. It stood eye to eye with the West. But the question remains. The question I died asking. What good is an empire if it has no heart? I am Saigō Takamori. I taught Japan how to build an empire. And then I became the last obstacle they had to destroy to complete it. They call me a hero now, a symbol, a martyr. But symbols don't bleed. Heroes don't weep. I was just a man, a warrior, a fool who believed honor mattered more than survival. And maybe, In a world obsessed with winning, that's exactly what Japan needed to remember. That some things are worth losing for. The samurai are gone, but the lesson remains, carved in blood on a hillside called Shiroyama, where the last true warriors chose death over dishonor, and in dying, became immortal.